In the last video we set up our workstation in VS Code, so now we are going to go ahead and get started and create a new React application. So I'm going to go ahead and open VS Code again, and I have a folder open called AWS, and so I'm going to open up the terminal, so you can press Control Shift Backtick for our shortcut for that, and you can see the path that I have selected to work in, and then we will just follow these instructions here. Run npx create react app amplify app, and let that run for a minute. Depending on the speed of your computer, this could go quick or it could go slow. Okay, that finished, and as you can see, we now have a new folder called Amplify App. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the next instructions, which is a change directory command, cd amplify app, and that's going to move us right into that new project, that new folder that was created for us. And then I'm going to type in npm start, which will launch the application on our local host. And localhost 3000 is opening, and there we have the spinning React logo. So now I can move back to VS Code and my instructions, and this is done. So I can go ahead and close that and move on to Initialize GitHub repository. One thing that you are going to have to do is you're going to have to install Git. So I will leave a link to that. This is the link I use since I'm using Windows 11, brand new installation. So yeah, I just downloaded it, did the next, finish type thing. Probably have to restart Visual Code. And I also had a problem where I was getting, Git is not recognized. So I had to follow some YouTube videos and edit the path variable so that Visual Studio Code could run it, and it was a big pain in the butt. So I'm going to leave a link to that video in this description as well. But having said that, and having Git installed, we can continue on through this, and you are going to also need a GitHub account. So there's a link that you can follow to get that set up, and then you're going to have to create a repository. So I already have an account. I'm going to go ahead and open up the home page for GitHub that you see after you log in. And here it is. I'm going to say create repository, and I will name it website. And for now, it's just going to be a public repository. Okay, and I know that we are going to need this later on. So we can go back to our instructions, and now we are moving into the command line interface on Visual Studio Code again. Now this application is running, so we're going to press Control C to get out of there, and now we can run commands again. So just to make sure Git is running, I'm going to type git -- version, and that is working. So I'm going to type in, actually first thing you need to do is log in on Visual Studio Code. So I'll find the commands for that. That is git config -- global user.name, and here is where you would put your name. So you could, I'm not going to do it. Put in whatever you would put in for your name, and then you would hit enter, and it would take it. And then you would also need email, and the same type of thing, jdo@hotmail.com. And after you've entered both of those commands, you should be able to go ahead and start with the rest of the commands that they have listed in the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So git init, git remote add origin. And this is where we go back to what I copied earlier. Just make sure I got it copied. And then you can right click to paste it in and hit enter. Okay. Git commit -m. -m means message. And first commit. Didn't like that. I went under out of order. I did not add a I didn't add any files. So I need to do git add and then dot. Okay. And now I can commit. So remember, you can just press up to show previous commands, and then I'm going to try this one again. And did not get an error this time, so I'm going to do git push origin master. And now, if we go to our folder right here and look at the code that's in there, let's see. There's not any code in here at all. So we are going to push that up to the repository. Git push origin master. And didn't give us any errors, so that's good. And now when we click on code, you can see that there is our first commit, and all of our code is now in our repository on GitHub. So that is a great start. And we have now successfully run through all the instructions here, so I can close this and move on to log into Aws Management Console. Okay, and it says open the Aws Management Console in a new browser window so you can follow this step-by-step guide open. When the screen loads, enter your username and password to get started. Then type Amplify in the search bar. Okay? I'll open it in a new window like it asked me. I'm going to create a new AWS account. Okay, and I'm going to put in my information. Here's where you would put your information. I'm not going to show this part of the process. Okay, quick warning, I did have to put in a credit card, but it assured me that I'm under the free tier, so I went ahead and did it. So I'm going to go ahead and click, I'm going to put my email address in, so I'm going to pause it again. Okay, and it says to search for Aws Amplify, so I started that. And it looks like that's it for that part of the module. Deploy your app with Aws Amplify. In the Aws Amplify Search Console, select Get Started. So it looks like the page is a little bit different already right now. But I'm going to click this. And then I'm going to do Get Started. And I think I made a mistake, so I actually clicked back. I think we need to do this. Host your web app. Connect your Git repository to continuously deploy your front end. So I think this is what we want. So I'm going to do Get Started on this. Yep, this looks right. So GitHub, continue. And wow, okay, yes. I'm not sure how, but it seemed to pull it in automatically. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and say authorize. GitHub authorization was successful. Okay, so we are on this screen right here. Authenticate with GitHub and return to Amplify console. Choose the repository. And that's the one we just created. and it says choose the master branch and then select next. Accept the default build settings and click next. Review the final details and select save and deploy. Aws Amplify will now build your source code and deploy your app at https://amplifyapp.com. Okay, so been watching this. I was a little bit confused. I clicked this and got this page, but I was just being impatient. And now I'm watching this update in real time. Provision, build, deploy, verify. So now I think it might work. There it is. So it is now running on AWS at this link right here. So that was the last step of that section, so I'm going to close it and move on to the next one, which is automatically deploy code changes. In this step, you'll make some changes to your code using your text editor and push the changes to the master branch of your app. Edit source app.js with the code below and save. Okay. So I'm going to go into source and it said app.js. Okay, so I can just copy this. Looks like. Trying to figure out what's different here. Paste that. I'm going to press Control S. Then we're going to push the changes to GitHub in the command prompt. Okay, so we're going to add all of the changes with git add dot. I'm just going to copy this. And then we're going to push it up to our repository with that command. Once the build is complete, select the thumbnail on the Aws Amplify console to view your updated changes. So I think I can just refresh this. That didn't seem to make any change. I think once again I have to wait for it to finish. The changes must not happen like that, like they do on your local machine when you make a change. So all we did was change this h1 tag. So as you can see from the instructions, once the build finishes, that's what we should be seeing. But if I go into my repository, I see nothing has changed for 20 minutes. And if I go into source and app.js, I see that this has not changed. So if this hasn't changed, then the website is not going to, this is definitely not going to change. So I need to figure out why that's happening. And now that I'm looking back, I'm seeing that there are some weird messages. There's errors. So let me run these commands again. I'm going to say git add dot, okay. Okay, that seems to be all right. Then git commit dash m changes for v2. One file change, 3 insertions, 12 deletions. So that seems okay. Now I'm going to try to push it again. Git push origin master. This looks okay, this looks okay, this looks okay. So now I'm going to go back and let's see. And it says hello from v2. So now I bet if I go back here. Let's find that link again. And click here. Still hasn't changed. And same thing. So under provisioning, build. So I gotta wait for it to run through that and then click it again. And then hopefully that's the last time we fail. Okay, it ran through it. So hello from V2. So we did it. We finished the module. You have deployed a React application in the AWS cloud by integrating with GitHub and using AWS Amplify. With AWS Amplify, you can continuously deploy your application in the cloud and host it on a globally available CDN. Next, we will create a local version of the app to continue development and add new features. So that's pretty cool. We got our local environment set up. We got our GitHub repository set up. We connected it to AWS, and it is live. And I believe in the next module we're going to learn how to make more changes to it. That is all for this video. If you liked it, please do like it and do subscribe. Thank you for watching.